Well, in this section, I want to talk about building Google from top to bottom. And I just want to tell you the titles: account, campaign, ad group, keywords, and their ads as well. Guys, I don't want to define it right now. I need to explain the beginning of the story first. I just want you to know how things are actually structured. Sir, here it has 3 bedrooms, 1 kitchen, 2 bathrooms, for example, and so on. Well, I want us to know the overall structure from top to bottom: account, campaign, ad group, keywords, and ads. The first thing I need to tell you is that, guys, the account is different from your Gmail or email. An account is a dashboard that is also assigned a unique ID, which I will talk about in the next slide. Your Gmail or even organizational emails are the means of access you actually have. As you can see in the image, our dear friend Messi is not the same, yeah, as that fake Messi. So the account is different from your email or Gmail, guys. Your emails and Gmails are the means of access or entry to the account. For example, let me tell you, you have an analytics account. Is that Gmail? No. Have you seen an account, or for example, does GA4 have a unique dedicated ID? Guys, that account's access method is the email and Gmail. They never say, for example, the account or what have been activated at the property level. What's the code for your property, for instance? It doesn't say, for instance, that Gmail is such and such. Well, you specify what those accounts are, like what the account is. For example, the account is this or that, and what. So we've clarified here that an account with Gmail or email, etc., are different from each other. Let's consider these 2 concepts separately. One request I have from you guys is to be precise about the names we're learning about. Don't say, for example, Mr. XY or anything else. Kids, learn the exact name. If we say ad group, it's not group, it's ad group. Well, we can't attach any other title to it. Just learn that exact name. If I give an example somewhere, like I came to the counter and gave 1 or 2 examples, it's so it sticks in your mind, okay? Kids, the image you are seeing is a picture of a Google Ads dashboard. A picture of a Google Ads dashboard, which is composed of different sections. Kids, this is one of the parts of our work where we start putting the details on the dashboard and read them out. I can tell you right now, you need to study this dashboard to learn it, meaning everything in it from top to bottom. The details of every word that has been mentioned, from the various words and the different places they have been placed. You need to learn where everything is and what its concepts are. Kids, until you know, for example, this is a wrench, this is a screwdriver, this is a pair of pliers, if you encounter a problem, you will know which one to pick up. You can't really decide which tool to use. So I ask you to pay close attention to every single detail. I share with you in this section, minute by minute, with attention to the titles. I'm telling you, Ismail, learn it. Just look at it now. Which side are you seeing, kids? You see a colorful box? Many accounts have changed their UI and UX now. Please don't get confused. This dashboard is the same. If, for example, this is supposed to be placed here in the war, it has been placed here, okay? It has been placed higher. So kids, don't worry about it. You are supposed to learn to see what things are present in this dashboard. And this is the continuation, which has different titles. For example, it's called the navigation bar and so on, and it doesn't have anything to do with it. Up there, you see it says overview, on the right side where your time frame is actually specified. So right now, I'm in the overall account. Overview, looking at my chart. The titles are actually Senyo, click, impression, average, CPC, cost, and so on. I can change this. Okay, I'll teach you how later. I have the feedback section, which I see up there on the right side, and I see 2 more. The biggest change section. I can also see the campaigns. This includes insights, campaigns, ad groups, ad extensions, landing pages, keywords, audience, settings, change history, and so on. So we need to learn together to first familiarize ourselves with the dashboard. I can see where the filters are. I can see the new campaign icon and so on. Guys, every dashboard has a unique account ID assigned to you at the top right, like a unique identification number. This account ID is only one. Assigned like a unique identification number, this ID is only one. A unique account ID is assigned to you. And on its right is the dashboard name, which you can customize and change. It shows the name of the account that is set for you. And finally, on the right is the profile picture. And to its left is the email or Gmail you are currently using to access this dashboard. So on the left, below it is actually that Gmail. We have integrated the notification and help point space into the dashboard, and we will review it with this. You see that 10-digit number, kids? From now on, if someone asks you for your ID, for example, suppose you are interacting with organizations or need to recharge your account, you enter it here to perform the recharge. They will ask you for your ID. I will find that ID and proceed to recharge it for you. That ID is unique, kids. You might have access to 10 IDs with your Gmail, which is how it works. Your Gmail or emails are the way to access the ID code of that account, and it is unique to you. Okay, so from now on, we've clarified together that when we say account, this is what we mean. And when we say ID, it's that 10-digit number at the top right that you see circled in red. Kids, what things are defined at the account level? Let me review account, campaign, ad group, keywords, and ads. How is it defined at the account level? The first point is that Google is very interested, and of course following this rule is very helpful for you, and I'll tell you about the risks later. The first point is that for each business, have a separate account. If you are an agency, don't worry, I'll talk about it later. Let's assume you have 2 or 3 different businesses, whether you own them yourself or they belong to someone else, and you want to work on them. This separate account for each business is an important point. What does it mean? It means, sir, I consider the domain for my business now. Don't let your mind wander to thinking, sir, I got a domain level for my business. Should I do this or that? Is it okay or not? Forget about that for now. Focus on this move. Say, sir, I should have a separate account for each of my businesses. What do I consider the business by that domain? Well, for example, I have a business like import-export. I separate it with the domain X, for instance. We enter it as .com. Okay, I have another one, for example. Let's say it's advertising at hdmarketing.org. For instance, I have another one, just an example. We don't actually have these, but just hdmarketing.org. Suppose I have another one. Let's say, I don't know, I send balloons into the air. Okay, for example, I might use something like hdmfazanavadi.com, right? If I want to advertise for these, my preference, Hatif, is that each of them should have a separate account. You can't advance with just one account. This is the detail, but I'm just stating my preferences today. Sir, can't we, for example, I don't know, put our bed in the living room? Okay, it's your choice. But the rules and regulations don't say that. So what's the reason? The middle one is balance. Kid, balance. I have to mention a few other names for it here because we see different models, ECA, balance, or your account charge. Well, if you see on your account it says balance exhausted, it means your account charge is finished. Balance or your account charge, kid. What is this? It's like you have an account, for example, on Snap where you define a wallet and have money in it. Like Digicala, you have money in your account. Well, balance or account charge is defined at the account level, not at the campaign level. At the campaign level, we had a budget, let's not forget, so we know we charge the account, meaning it consumes, right? We charge the account, our wallet, and for each click, you're throwing money to Google, you charge the account ready for the campaign to be launched. That's its prerequisite, right? So balance or charge, as I mentioned, is like a wallet where the account, for example, has 10,000 units of currency charged in it. And finally, what is defined at the account level is access or access level. Guys, accesses are defined at the account level. It gives a program, and on this slide, guys, take a look. I had a campaign, ad group, and keywords. Someone comes and says, I want to set up several businesses in the account. Guys, a wrong title is given to this topic in the market, and it's completely made up. Dedicated and shared account. A shared account is defined as one where 20 businesses are put into a single account. Guys, this title is not defined for me. The idea that this strategy is correct is a mistake, and I will discuss its risks, but it is completely meaningless. This is self-made, so what is the point? When I'm talking about an account, it's at a higher level. Imagine that now I'm talking about balance and access. Suppose you come to a level where you are managing an account, which means I can't run different campaigns for different businesses. The first issue, kids, when you are charging an account, it's very difficult to divide it for their consumption in this context. Note, it's also very difficult to make it specific, and there are many errors. The second issue is account access, which is being defined at its level. When you are defining access at the account level, for example, I'm saying, suppose you see the campaign data, for instance, from my work, or the campaign data, like, I don't know, from a lady. I also see X, well, I see Mr. Y, and I see the business of Fran. So guys, no, I can't define access at the campaign level. Another reason I mentioned separating the account level is, besides the balance discussion and so on, there's also the access level. Additionally, the risk is something I'll address later. So access is defined at the account level. The question that arises, let me tell you guys, the balance amount or the charge summary, they put this, guys, this is A, they write the summary. Well, you can see your account balance or charge in the tools setting under the billing summary section. You see here it shows your remaining credit. This is for a prepaid account, it gets charged. This account is also postpaid. I'm working with these models. Now, but in the discussion of remaining credit, you are seeing your charge amount, well, the remaining charge amount. Keep 2 points in mind, so I am seeing the charge at the account level. Guys, pay attention to this. My charge is at the account level. A very important point is whether this UI is an old UI that you are seeing. Many accounts still display the old UI, and many accounts have a UI like this. You see available fund written, and this available fund is exactly the same. You have mined, or the balance you are seeing says the last charge was 200 on the date of the 16th of December. This one came and says, I don't know, June 2nd, 2020, for example, on this app that I have shown you. So I have the available fund, which is the account balance. A very important point to write down and never forget from now on is that no data inside Google Ads is in real time. No data inside Google is in real time. What does that mean? It means that it is possible that right now a series of clicks are being received, but this campaign has not yet passed. And the available fund you are seeing has not yet been updated. So don't stress out. This is a natural situation. So this available fund too, you don't even see the real time being deducted from it little by little. So this issue also applies here. Guys, this is its new UI, so you don't get lost. I've put the data. Let me tell you something else, guys. Google, like any other dashboard or software, has a series of shortcuts that once you learn these shortcuts, it will help you. The shortcut for entering the bearing section or your summary is GB. Guys, GB stands for go to bearing. Well, these shortcuts have a categorization that once you learn them, we will review them together. Go to bearing. Learn these shortcuts right here alongside the other parameters we've talked about. Let me review. Shati, we said to separate different business levels at the account level. Why? One of the reasons I mentioned is that balance or chart is defined at the account level, and ultimately accesses are defined at the account level. Also, Remember that an account is different from Gmail, email, etc. Well, I can define different levels of access for emails, for example. At the account level, yes, guys, learn this well because we have a lot of questions about it. Well, we also have questions in your exam. Let me also mention a level. Guys, your course exam, you have to take the test. It will be scheduled and they will specify it within your group and inform you, you must take the test. The condition for entering your next course is exactly that you pass this exam. Why the score and the grade? Because this is a prerequisite and a preliminary seminar for a course, a discipline, a UACV. One, we have seen it for you for now, at least this site has it. And the suggestion is that I was asking about this program. Guys, first of all, a review of access is defined at the account level. Please learn about these different levels. The initial level is email only, which means it can email reports to them, and in fact, its access is limited. They can't make any edits in the billing section, where their access is still limited. They can view payments, but they don't have access to view or edit billing information. It's read only, allowing them to see campaigns and use planning tools like the keyword planner, performance planner, and so on, which are defined within the dashboard, giving them usability. They can actually view the billing information section and have access to view reports. But they can't edit anything, meaning they can't edit campaigns or anything else. They can only view, poor thing, and can only use their eyes. The standard model routinely grants all this access. What's the difference from an admin? Practically, there's no difference except for one point. When you want to add a user, or for example, delete a user, or if you want to handle product links, usually when you want to, for instance, close analytics, assume you've already acquired an account from us and you want to close it. You announce the access. You link it and that's it. Just know this much. To be able to link various Google products with analytics and so on, at this level, you have a defined role. It can be changed in the admin, but practically the standard won't have any difference for you compared to the admin, and you are executing it. It has complete access. And in fact, you can fully edit your campaigns. You can do everything. So we will have a review email, only billing, read-only access, standard access, and admin access. Well, these are the roles you define at the account level. So don't forget to differentiate them. The question arises here. How many emails can I, or rather, how many accounts can I directly link to each email? Guys, you can connect a maximum of 20 accounts to each email. The point here is that many people wonder what to do if the number of accounts exceeds this limit. Guys, there is an account type called MCC, which stands for My Client Center for Google Ads, which is designed to manage a large number of accounts. But that's not the focus here. I'll talk about it later. But for now, just know that you can directly link a maximum of 20 accounts to one email. Whether they are individual accounts or manager accounts like the MCC, you can connect up to 20 of them directly. So if you have a small number of accounts, you don't need to worry about this for 10 minutes, and you can do this. MCC type 1 is a type of account that most agencies use, like us, so keep this limitation in mind. Now conversely, can I link or give access to multiple emails or Gmail accounts to a single account? Yes. As you can see in the image, those dots actually represent that an emoji is being displayed. What you are currently seeing as two dots is actually an old account of one of the subscribers. Because of this, since its title was in the email itself, and it was their organizational email, I put it on the brochure. However, you can link multiple emails to a single account, meaning several people can have access to one account. It's very possible to say my campaign is large. For example, I want several people to have access to it, to view and manage different campaigns. Okay, there's no problem if one person handles billing, for example, So the capability to link multiple emails to one account exists. Once again, is there the capability to link multiple accounts to one email? Yes, up to a maximum of 20. Is there the capability to link multiple emails to one account and grant access to multiple emails? Again, the answer is yes. The next question that arises is, can I actually set up for one website, or rather one domain? Please pay attention to this. Write these down, guys. These are very important policies in Google. Can I set up for one domain and actually have two different accounts and run them simultaneously? Why does this question even arise sometimes? Guys, one of the things that goes through our minds is that I want to have a higher ranking in Google. Guys, Google has a very important policy, and that is the unfair advantage. What does unfair advantage mean? It means, sir, I don't pay attention to it. You can't have more than one position at the top each time. We haven't seen more than one position in organic results. So we need to keep in mind that if I come and run two accounts to advertise for one website simultaneously, it will definitely cause problems, guys. Your account will get suspended. Sometimes exceptions might occur where this simultaneity doesn't show up, and Google might take time to catch it, but it will definitely suspend it. The suspension is such that it might affect your Gmail, it might affect your domain. Sir, if your account was previously with another organization, and now you're bringing your account here, for example, there won't be any problem for it. The first thing we say is, sir, please have your campaigns paused. Usually, when I come to cancel the account, the account from the previous place, but have your campaigns paused, meaning there hasn't been any simultaneity in execution, which is important when migrating in this context. In fact, accounts won't cause you any issues unless there's a debt on the previous account and so on, which we discuss. But be aware, guys, the point is you must respect Google's policies and pay attention to them. Otherwise, guys, problems will arise for your domains in Google. It doesn't mean that if it's suspended, sir, we will face issues with that, etc. No, in Google, from what and how. Now, I want to talk about exactly and only Google itself. So, sir, having two accounts, running campaigns simultaneously for one domain is an important policy explanation and will be suspended. The next question that arises is, can I run different campaigns on different accounts? Well, running different campaigns on different accounts for different domains. Of a website, sometimes it happens more often that you get two domains or a set of domains, and you do what is called park alias, or actually park mirror them. It's not a redirect. I'm talking about redirecting, which is also part of Google's policies. Well, for example, two domains like htmarketing.org and htmarketing.com, assume both are for HTM. And we want to do advertising on those two, actually. Different domain, different account. First of all, this is part of the policies that Google has. I mentioned that Google says, sir, have one account for each business. Well, if we try to bypass it like this, guys, they will sue you. What does suing mean? It means if someone reports it or Google itself detects that both of these are one website and it's using two accounts to get two positions, meaning you've made a strategy like this. First of all, I don't recommend going to war by setting up such a strategy. Try to improve your traffic instead. It was on your first account, you all had an account. Again, the issue is that if you do such a thing and Google finds out, it will penalize your domain, and they don't take this matter lightly, guys. Problems will arise with your domain, and you won't be able to advertise on it. This is another policy. The next question that arises, guys, is that now, before I go into this, regarding about the different domain, don't do it. Regarding if we come and actually have several, put the domain into one account and want to actually run the campaign and talk about it, let me say talk about this then I'll get to those two items. The next question from the kids is exactly like this. Look, sir, if I come and run several campaigns, pay attention in one account, several campaigns, for different domains. Let's assume the businesses are also different. For example, htmarketing.org Or for instance, Amazon.com. For example, Amazon.com, for example, what do I know? Anything. Digicala.com, for example. Well, the level of business is different. You came and mounted it on a single account. Remember I said, separate account for each business. The guy said to have separate and distinct accounts for each of your businesses. This is exactly where it comes up, what risks it has. These are exactly the risks we talked about. The first issue is right in the middle. Bring Abishgram into your life, or I said what problem arises. The first thing is, sir, you can't easily divide the balancer. You'll run into problems. Why? Because these are like a mother. Have you seen how mothers usually end up spending more on trips and such? This is the usual story. Balancing this issue is troublesome, and actually dedicating it is difficult, because in the discussion of the counter, its definition is from this center, it must. From that level, you want to actually manage its consumption. Otherwise, you consume it. You set a budget that you haven't consumed, and when it costs, it reduces your charge, and controlling it becomes very difficult for you. The second point, if you remember, is that blue level I set for you, which is that access was defined at the account level. When you run different campaigns, if access is needed, that business in you can't separate the campaign level. What happens? You provide them with all the data together, and they can see other data as well. So be mindful of this issue. The third and most important point, and of course, there are other items in between, but the third and most important one I want to tell you is that if one of these domains has an issue against Google's policies, you'll see that the entire account gets suspended. So what happens? The others are left in a lurch, and you have to go and rearrange everything manually. The campaign was running, it had gained a score, and all sorts of things had happened. The campaign was set up for them, but if one of these domains encounters a problem, the entire account might get suspended. Then what happens? Their campaigns are paused. Now come and fix it. What happens? You have to create a new account for those others that didn't have a problem. You have to do exactly the same thing again, get the score again, and so on. Therefore, I prefer not to take on the risk of such a thing. I prefer to stick with what Google has said, which is to have one account per business, domain as I mentioned. Sir, how many domains should we have for a business? I do not recommend this approach. We only do this in one situation. And that is when you guys, are on an IR domain. Currently, as this video is being recorded, you cannot advertise on an IR domain. Hopefully, by the time you are watching this, even if it's tomorrow, this restriction will have been lifted, but you cannot advertise on an IR domain. What is the solution? So first, the IR was removed from this chain, right? The error it gives is due to sanctions, for example, from the US. You cannot, guys, what is the solution? Pay attention. You buy another domain with any suffix, xyz.com. You buy anything other than air. Usually these domains are cheap, so don't overdo it. If you have bought all the domains, you choose one for yourself. A very important point. Look, guys, a business has come on IR, for example. It has done SEO, right? It has worked on its website, correct? We don't want to cut off these assumptions. Why? Please note them down. So it's like a story, for instance. Write it down. A business has come on IR, invested, worked a lot, done SEO, etc. Now, it cannot advertise on IR. For the guests, I say don't go on IR at all. It makes a lot of sense. Overall, I mean logically, put your head on IR, at least in my opinion, because you want to reduce your future problems. The second topic is, what should I do here? So, if I do SEO and get another domain and park the domain, guys, this is not your job. It's something you tell your developer to do for you, to park the domain, okay? Up to this point, it's okay. I say yes. He says, well, here for SEO. The problem actually arises. He says you have duplicate content. What does duplicate content mean? Two websites with the same content, right? To prevent this problem, pay attention. Write down its policies, The first topic is that Google Ads is sensitive about redirects. It says it's dishonest, meaning you said we're going to a cafe, but we ended up at a pool. Well, it says it's dishonest. Pay attention, guys. Redirects, from Google's perspective, are dishonest, and essentially what they call lying to it.